Hi everyone, my name's Max Hanna and I'm one of the co-founders of the Social Selling Company. I've put together this short presentation to share our formula to social selling in the B2B space and a case study of a customer we've worked with quite a while now, RMG Networks, and how they've managed to use social selling strategies to help them generate new business opportunities as well as huge amounts of brand awareness. So just quick intro on myself. So I'm the gentleman there at the bottom. My background is in enterprise B2B sales. I used to work for a company called Sabio, selling enterprise contact center solutions. My co-founder there at the top of the page, James Anderson, has an events background and used to use LinkedIn heavily to help with his corporate events. We founded the company in January of 2016. We work with about 25 organizations to date. You can see some of the companies we work with there. We've worked with Equifax, worked with parts of Oracle, worked with a lot of SMEs such as the Ministry of Sound on their B2B offering, RMG Networks at the bottom there, who I'm going to talk a bit about later on. And we've helped these organizations create and deliver B2B social selling strategies. So what do I mean by social selling? So to put simply, it's about finding and engaging your buyers on social media. And what we do as an organization is help create and deliver B2B social selling strategies and automate the process for our customers as well. Why social? Well, the landscape of business development has changed. So the old sales model is very much about cold calling. So 5, 10, 15 years ago, if you wanted to go out, generate new business opportunities, you'd very much be just picking up the phone, cold calling prospects, qualifying them on the phone and trying to book sales demos. But what we've found and what the industry is telling us is that telemarketing, just cold telemarketing, has become a lot less effective. And what we believe in is the new sales model on the right, which is actually using social media to identify your target audience, educating and engaging them around your offering, and then calling them once they've actually shown some sort of interest. So we're still a firm believer in telemarketing. It does get results, but if you can join social selling and telemarketing together, then you're going to get much better results. So just a few stats here, on LinkedIn, 500 million users worldwide, almost 18 million users in the UK, and 82% of people who have LinkedIn check it daily. So, in this day and age, 99.9% of your target audience are on LinkedIn. And if they're on LinkedIn, they're highly engaged. 82% of people check it daily. So if that's where your buyers are, you should be there too, creating effective content plans, starting conversations, growing your networks. And if you know how to do it, at this point of time, you can generate some really good results. And just to echo this, to put it bluntly, it works. Ourselves, we were a bootstrap startup. We had no funding, very little investment. We managed to grow our whole business just through the back of LinkedIn. It's cost effective. It's a lot less, it's not as expensive as telemarketing campaigns. In terms of the ROI, it's great output for what you put in, and it's also a great way to generate competitive advantage. Most organizations at this present time don't understand social selling or have a formal strategy. So if you guys can start implementing social selling in your business, you're going to be ahead of the curve, you're going to gain competitive advantage because in 2 or 3 years, everyone's going to be doing this and it's going to be very commonplace. So we'll jump into our process now. Like I said, put this together really just to share our formula and give you guys some insights that you can take back to your business. So our process, to put it simply, consists of 3 stages. There's a setup phase, there's a database build, and then there's a direct messaging phase. So in the setup phase, when you're thinking about starting a social selling campaign, the first thing to do is carry out a LinkedIn audit. So things you want to look at is, are your company profiles in line with best practices in terms of your bios, your headshots, the branding on the page, links to content? I can talk about your LinkedIn profile all day, but you want to have a look at your profiles as a company. You also want to, if you've got time, benchmark you in your industry. So carry out things like a competitor analysis, see what other competitors are talking about, do peer-to-peer competitor analysis. So have a look at, at your directors and then benchmark your directors with the competition and see how you compare. The second phase of the setup phase is a content plan. And this is a big part of what we do for companies. And You guys can obviously just do this yourself, but you want to have a plan about the content you're going to put out. And we've got a section, not a few slides on about what is effective content-wise. Database mapping. So if you guys and girls can upgrade to Sales Navigator, what you can do is you are able to map out your buyers because you're able to save leads on Sales Navigator. So, like going back to my slide before, 99.9% of your target audience on LinkedIn. It's really easy to find them. And what you can do is org mapping. So, mapping out your organization, mapping out your buyers. Who are they? Where do they sit? And then the stage after that is to think about a call to action. So when you're on LinkedIn and you're producing content, you're talking to people, you want to be providing a call to action via a landing page. That could be things like an event, it could be a white paper, it could be a webinar. What you want to do is move traffic from social to a call to action to start driving people down the pipeline. And then also you want to have some sort of lead nurturing / scoring system. So you might already be using things like HubSpot, Pardot, SharpSpring, or Autopilot. This can feed into your wider marketing automation software and feed that system with fresh data. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. So that's the setup phase. Before you start your B2B social selling campaigns, these are the things you need to think about. And in terms of what content works, so the most important thing is to give value. Like, people don't really care about, how great you are, all your achievements. You want to give people actually practical advice. So when I'm posting on social, I'm always talking about how you can, different tactics and strategies to get more out of social media, things about marketing, trying to give people insights, trying to give people value. I mean, if you're in like the technology space, try to think about how can I help people use technology more effective. And if you generally give people valuable information, you're going to see the returns. Try not to make it all very egotistical and just about your achievements. There's a lot of posts that are just very wishy-washy, and to be honest with you, I think that puts some people off. Second point about content is talk about strategy and not product. We used to work with, we still do work with a company who provide cloud telecom solutions, and they were trying to release a new call recording product. And when they were releasing it, the content they put out was all about features. So they were like talking, had 99.9% uptime, you could connect with it anywhere, feature, and it just put people off. But when we took a step back and actually thought about what does cloud provide, it's about agility. Because the fact that you can plug in anywhere, the fact that it's you don't need to upgrade the systems, it gives you agility. And then they start to frame their content about building agility into your IT operations, and then talk about features once they've got people bought into that wider concept. It's a lot more powerful. So try to think about how your offering fits into a wider strategy at a high level, and don't hammer people with features because it will put people off. Human interest stories work. So if you're trying to generate awareness, and trying to get things to go viral, human interest stories can work well if you do it right. Case studies are a great example, because who can tell your story better than your customers? Product demos, video, really powerful. On LinkedIn, video is a really trending form of media. They've now allowed people to upload video content through their mobiles, and we've found with our content that video works best on LinkedIn in terms of engagement, because it is a new media platform. And short insights and blogs work well as well. With your content on things like LinkedIn, try your best to keep it short. And just to let you know, the majority of this presentation will be focused on LinkedIn, because in B2B, really LinkedIn is where you want to spend most of your time. We do stuff on Facebook and Twitter as well, but for the purpose of this presentation, we're just going to focus on LinkedIn, because that's where really you want to master this channel and then work on the other ones, in our opinion. So that's the first stage. The second phase then is your database build. So we're a firm believer when you're social selling, you want to try and get new connections. So you want to be always growing the network. I've personally got 16,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I've achieved this through sending out personalized connection requests, always making a habit of growing my network, because your network is your net worth. It's a really valuable asset that you can build up, not just for your current job or your current business, but if you're ever looking for other jobs, if you can bring a network of 15,000 connections with you, there's monetary value you can put on that. You want to be in a database build, you want to be generating new followers on Twitter. And also within this stage, as you've grown your network really heavy, once you've finished this setup phase, you then want to be doing the content push. At this stage, you don't want to be direct messaging people. You just want to be popping up in people's newsfeed, generating awareness, giving people value. And also you want to do an email data connection, because not everyone is going to connect with you on LinkedIn. So you want to make a note of those who haven't connected with you. And there's systems out there like eGrabber, which we use for our customers, or even things like Experian, where you can get email data on the people you're trying to reach, so that you can say, okay, if I can't reach them on LinkedIn, at least I can reach them on email, and you've got another channel to reach people. So that's the database build. The third phase is then the direct messaging. So, you've set up your profiles correctly, you've done the setup phase, you've then built your network, you've got a massive network now. Then you want to go out and actually start conversations with your target audience. And hopefully you'd have done the content push right, so they are aware of you already. You're not going in cold. I know, I'm sure all of you get, messages sent on LinkedIn that are always, going in straight with a sales pitch. You don't want to do that. You want to provide that first message with some value. So the call to action message should be a link to a landing page with data capture. And again, this could be inviting people to an event, could be inviting people to read a webinar or a video. You want to give people further value, but get them to register for this valuable content, so you can start to get identify those who are actually engaging with your content, and then that will go to later, once you start to nurture them, actually become your sales ready leads. And then also, as people start to register for your email, for your landing page, you need to have an email drip campaign, because when people start to register for your content, you then want to nurture them, and email is still probably the best for nurturing, because you can automate the process. So that's very simply our 3 steps. It's not entirely complicated, but what I'll do now is take you guys through a case study. But just to caveat this, there are some key requirements to succeed. So first of all, you need to know your target audience. You need to know who they are. I'm sure you already know who your audience are, but be surprised how many people you talk to don't truly understand that. You need to have an engaging message with real value. On LinkedIn, when you are messaging people, when you're putting out content, if you're just talking, rubbish and not giving people value, you're not going to get the traction you need. And you need to call the prospects to engage with your content. Social selling is not about the hard sell. You're not going to LinkedIn's not in the long term going to get you loads of, like sales ready leads. Telemarketing is still the best for actually having that kind of hard sell, but only once you've used, like I said, social media to actually warm them up so they're ready for a phone call. So it's all about warm calls. So it's about knowing what is best placed for a call and what is best placed for social media. So I'll take you guys into a case study of how this actually looks like in practice. And this is a customer we've worked with for quite a while now, RMG Networks, a global leader in digital displays. They provide visual displays into contact centers, into warehouses, into high-end retail stores. And what we did for them is provide a managed service and also sponsored ad campaigns, where we took actual management of their sales director's profile, so Rob Brinklow. We also ran some sponsored ad campaigns for them as well. So first of all, in the setup phase, we took over the profile and we optimized it. So he's the sales director there, but we actually put him as director at RMG Networks. We took the sales off because we find that you do get a better engagement when you remove sales, because for some people, sales will mean you get a lower connection rate. And we put a tagline in there saying helping drive engagement, productivity, and performance. So they're trying to target HR directors, internal communications directors, to talk to them about how visual displays can improve communication within the organization. So this tagline, driving engagement, productivity, and performance, are things that their target audience are always trying to think about. And again, it's about grabbing people's attention. You also want to have an effective bio, recommendations to make sure the profile is completely optimized. And like I said, at this stage, you may even do a competitor analysis to see how you are benchmarked in your industry. Then you create your content plans. This is a content plan we created for RMG, thinking about what's short articles, videos, having the relevant comments and planning it out so that, it's not guesswork every week. And then creating a landing page. So their call to action was actually getting people to an event. So it was understand and solve the employee engagement challenge, RMG thought leadership session and gamification workshop. So all the content we put out had a backlink to this event. When we were direct messaging people, it had a link to this event. It was about getting people to a landing page, get them to register for your content, and then you're getting them into your internal marketing system. So moving them off social and, like I said, into your internal marketing system, and then setting up an email drip campaign after that. So when they have registered for your content, they can then see a series of follow-ups. You're nurturing them, you're point scoring them. So you're integrating social with email, and then later on, once you start to see people are engaging with it, then you pick up the phone and have a conversation, and that's how you turn this engagement into actual business opportunities. So after that, the next stage, mapping out prospects. You can see here on Sales Navigator, we targeted HR directors, 5,000 HR directors saved. So they gave us a brief of, want to target organizations of 1,000 plus, HR directors, UK and also Europe. So we mapped out all those decision makers. 5-10 years ago, if you wanted a database of 5,000 individuals from your target audience, you'd pay thousands of pounds for that. This is all included within Sales Navigator. It costs about £80 a month, but if you're serious about social selling, it's an absolutely critical tool. So once we mapped them out, we then started connection with them. So we've optimized the profile, we're posting loads of content, we're generating awareness, and then we're sending out a personalized connection request. So it's an example of a connection request here. It's like, hi Jenny, Rob Brinklow here. I'm director at RMG. I use LinkedIn to share content on how organizations can drive engagement, productivity, and performance through visual displays. I came across your profile, impressed with the experience. Is it okay to connect? And then we usually see about a 30 to 40% acceptance rate. Like I said, not everyone's going to accept with you, but you still want to be aggressively growing your network. And then those who haven't connected with you, because like I said, not everyone will, we've got a system called eGrabber, which is a large database for emails that we can actually run searches. So we get a list of those who haven't connected, and then we can pull their email address from the system so that we can at least reach out to that target audience we've mapped out via email. And then, like I said, we're posting content. So this is a typical post: 4 reasons why your internal communication strategy needs mobiles. 12 likes, 1,355 views. Again, it's just generating awareness so that the next stage we go into direct messaging. So they've seen you pop up in their post in the newsfeed, you've gained credibility, and then you send a message one that could be something like this. So it's saying like, hi Paul, thanks for accepting my connection request. I'm thrilled to have you in my network. If I can help with introductions to anyone, please let me know. So I always recommend with your first message on LinkedIn, try to keep it casual. Don't go in with a straight sales pitch. Build some credibility, and people really appreciate that. But then the second message we then follow up is to actually give them some valuable content, or to give them something that's actually going to, not trying to sell to them, but trying to get them engaged around some sort of offering. So it says, hi Paul, I'd like to invite you to a lunch followed by a free exclusive invitation only thought leadership session and gamification workshop in the iconic Tower 42, Central London on the 8th of October from 12 to 5. Tells you why you should register and also the links. And that's the landing page we created later. Like I said, we're trying to get people to the landing page, registering for content, putting it into their internal marketing system. And you can see here some of the feedback. So it's like, hi Rob, just registered the event, looks really interesting, look forward to seeing you on the day. Another response here, this is really exciting stuff. Visual employee engagement, something I think can completely change the way we engage with our colleagues. It's innovative, it's instant impact, and also memorable. So what we're doing for them, if you looked at Rob's inbox, they're having loads of these conversations, generating lots of positive feedback, starting conversations online, getting people registering for content, increasing brand awareness. And on top of that, we also run a sponsored ad campaign. So this is, again, plugging the event, but just sponsoring it to people's inboxes, to those who haven't connected with him on LinkedIn. And then you can draw different reports on open rates and click-through rates and stuff like that. So in terms of the results from this, so from in a single month of working with RMG, we've got 43 registrations to a Tower 42 event through managing his profile and running a sponsored ad campaign. Off the back of, at the end of 3 months working, they got 16 meetings, so actually 16 new business meetings that they could directly attribute to the stuff we were doing on LinkedIn. Because we managed this campaign, we managed to generate 3,000 new connections, so really aggressively growing his network. If you do it right, you can grow your network really fast if you make sure you have a personal note in your connection requests. LinkedIn, if you are able to do it correctly, like I said, you can grow it quickly, but they will rank your acceptance rate. They have an algorithm that measures your account. So you have to be careful with connection requests. If you go too gung-ho, if you don't do the correct steps, then you can face blocks on your account because they will basically identify you as spam. But the way to avoid that is doing the prerequisites that I put out in this presentation. If you do these steps correctly, you can really grow your network with no problems at all. We managed to get 5,000 email addresses through our eGrabber system that we do for customers. They got 45 white paper downloads, over 100 Point Drive viewers. So Point Drive is a landing page that sits within LinkedIn. I don't have time to talk about it on this presentation, but it's a really cool feature on LinkedIn where you can host content and see who's engaged with it. It's actually where I hosted this presentation today. We've got over 10,000 content views from the content plan we put out for them over 3 months, and over 100 conversations started. So RMG got some really amazing results from what we've done on them. This is one example of a successful campaign we've run for our customers. So that's our process. That's an example of a campaign that we've run. So how can we help? If you want to work with an organization to run a social selling campaign, this is what we can do. So we actually do these 3 steps for you in our managed service. So that setup phase we talked about, that costs £1,500. Our managed service is spread over 3 months. So month 2, we then do that database build. Month 3, we then go into direct messaging. And then after the 3 months, we then have an ongoing service that ranges from anywhere from £500 to £2,000, depending on how little or how much you want us to do. And we've got flexible contracts as well. And we just literally do all the legwork, the whole service for you, managing your account, running ads if you want, and just generating results. So just to recap on what these phases look like. So in the setup phase, we carry out a LinkedIn audit. We help you create a content plan, do the database mapping on Sales Navigator, create a landing page for you, and we set you up with lead nurturing, lead scoring via marketing automation. So if you're already using things like HubSpot, Pardot, then great, we can just work with that. But if you don't have a marketing automation system that can do your drip campaigns within this price, we can set that up for you. And if you do have these systems in place, like I said, we can work with what you've got already or implement new systems for you. We work with SharpSpring, we work with Autopilot, so we can get you set up on that. Month 2 is the database build, so we will go out there, heavily connect with people. We'll aim to get about 2,000 to 5,000 new connections, and those who don't connect, we'll run a report through our eGrabber system and get you the emails for those who haven't. We also get you 1,000 new followers on Twitter, and we do a heavy content push because in month 2, as you grow your network, you need to build that credibility through effective content. So that in month 3, when we do the direct messaging, when they see that message come into their inbox, they've already seen you on their newsfeed. You've gained the credibility, and this will get you a much higher acceptance rate. So those 2,000 to 5,000 new connections, we'll direct message all of them with a call to action via the landing page. The example in RMG was their event. And then we do lead nurturing / lead scoring via marketing automation. So when we get all the registrations, we'll set up an email drip campaign to nurture them, to understand who's engaging with it the most. And then what you've got to do on your side is then call those individuals who have engaged to try and follow up, maybe to book a demo or book a meeting. And that's how you take the awareness and engagement on social to a point where they're actually a qualified lead. Like I said, the deliverables we need from you to make this a success are the details of your target audience and to call the prospects who engage with your content. So when people have downloaded your content, engaging with you, you've had maybe a few conversations online, you need to be willing to pick up the phone and have a chat with them, because at that point it's a warm call. They're going to know who you are, they've engaged with your content, and then you can convert that into a business opportunity. And as a result of all of this work, you get an automated B2B social selling system, a database of engaged prospects, and real business opportunities. So you can see here, this is actually Yuri, who's the marketing director at RMG. I sent him a message on LinkedIn saying, how did the event go? And he replied to me with this. You should build a case study out of RMG and shove it under the noses of some potential SMB B2B clients. So that's exactly what I did. It was actually really good, about 43 attendance so far. As I already know, 9 follow-up meetings set to take place. Our global CEO congratulated us on the turnout and organisation, as well as a very high quality of the speakers and presentations. So, that's straight from the horse's mouth, positive feedback on the campaign we ran for them. This is another email I got back from a customer we worked with for quite a while now. Now we comply. We have now booked a meeting with OCS for 10th of March. Amazing, huge opportunity exactly in our space. They have 20,000 employees. All their HR systems are manual and creaking, just perfect. You know, and another screenshot here of a conversation on LinkedIn where customers, you know, they've reached out to a customer and he started to ask about their cloud-based telemetry solution. And then it's gone on to talk about how now I'd like to invite you to an RFP. So again, real business opportunity is coming out of LinkedIn. And again, just to reiterate here, you know, we've got a real solid base of customers now, the likes of Equifax, Odessa, Oracle, Ministry of Sound, Exasol, RMG, a few of many customers that we worked with. We've got some really great results. And that's it. So that's our presentation. That's our formats of social selling, an example of what we've done for some customers, our model if you want to work with a third party like us to deploy a social selling campaign for you. Hope you got a lot of value from that. And yeah, thanks a lot for taking time to watch it. There's my details if you want to get in touch, and enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Thank you very much.